We have arrived to one of our favorite places. Thank you, Jim Richardson, for this scoop on this great place. It's a 45-minute bus ride, which is around, I think, $6 to come here and $6 to go back. And it's well worth it. It's bus 142 from Kansas City, and this is a must visit. First of all, if you have children, because of the water park, but the best part of this is the rare exotic tropical fruit trees. Of course, George has got the shakes already. We're here, and we're both making our own perspective of this place. Wow, wow, wow. The community gardens of Sugarworld. Beautiful. Last year we were here, no, 2 years ago we were here in December, so this is going to give us a whole different view of this community gardens here in Cairns. Edmonton, really. I'm sure George was just shaking in his boots with excitement when he saw all the sugar cane here. So another really neat thing, last time we were here there were mangoes everywhere. I don't know how old these mango trees are in the background, but I'm trying to give them justice. They are huge. The backdrop reminds me of Kauai. A lot of Cairns does remind me of Hawaii. I think originally there were mango groves in the downtown area of Cairns in the earlier years, and they ripped them all out. So sad. So cool. My first tree is a durian tree. I heard somewhere or read somewhere, I think it was on Preemie's. Yeah, it was on Preemie's. Preemdas's. Shh, the dog saw me. Hello. So this is the durian tree. He said they have a problem with the cockatoos, so maybe they're not going to have a really good crop here. And I can imagine the dog is guarding the durian trees. It's so funny. Next to this is the canistel tree. I'm going to try to move on so you don't have all that dog barking. This is an achacha from Bolivia. And then next to it was a quince. We had a quince tree at one time, but George ripped it out, and it was great. And I've since been encouraging him to put another variety of quince in, because they're great, even raw. I used to bake them. Quince and achacha. Looks like they just planted a baby miracle fruit. And for those of you that don't know about the miracle fruit, you chew it first, and then you take any kind of sour fruit like a lemon, and it tastes sweet. If you've not got to try it, I encourage you to try it. This is a tree I'm not familiar with from Borneo. Maybe some of you out there that are extreme fruit hunters and fruit collectors like George's will know about this tree. Wow, it's so pretty up there. The leaves. Another tree that I'm unfamiliar with. Remember, the first 50 years of my life I lived in the snow in Illinois, Chicago, the Windy City. And I'm not familiar with a lot of these trees, and the impartation has been coming from George. I've learned a lot from him, but I'm still learning. And I thought it would be fun if I did my perspective. It looks like it's got one of the fruits. Holy cow, this definitely looks like cacao. Okay, let's see how good I am at recognizing this fruit, because there's no sign. We'll see. It's either cacao, and it sort of looks like cacao, but then it could look like an avocado too. I think it's cacao. Maybe you guys will recognize the tree. I don't know. I need George for this one. I recognize this one. We have 3 of these babies growing with lots of fruit coming. in our own real life Funtopia, and that's the black Sapote from Mexico. I can't imagine our black Sapote being this big at real life Funtopia, but wow, these trees are just super big, large, grande. Yeah, I think this is cacao. It doesn't have a sign, but I'm thinking, you guys can let me know in the comments, but I think it's cacao. We've had cacao juice at the Mossman Market and it was outstanding. So I think that's the tree. If I'm wrong, you guys correct me. I'm sure George will know for sure. This is a Malabar tamarind from Indonesia. I don't think we have this one in our garden. I think we have a native Australian. Here's a look at the tree. It's huge again. Wow, this is our wampy tree all grown up. Wow, I'm imagining what our baby wampy tree that I think is around 6 years old is going to look like when it's a great-grandfather. So cool. I'm somewhere in the future and I look much bigger than I look right now. This is another variety, I think, of wampy from South China, Vietnam, and Thailand. I'm in the wampy forest, getting excited. Look at that trunk. Our wampy has been very slow in Melbourne, so this here is inspiring. It's exciting. Holy Batman. I can hear baby bats here that are really hungry. They were making little hungry baby bat noises. This doesn't have any kind of label right here. It looks like it's not been planted long ago. But you know what it sort of reminds me of? It reminds me of cassava, but I have not a clue if that's what it is. So if you know what it is, put it in the comments. But it does look like cassava. Another tree I'm not familiar with called the Macambo from Central and South America. Hey, I'm learning along with you all. Like I said, I lived in snow the first 50 years of my life and only been in Melbourne in the the temperate climate for 15 years. So a lot of these trees are very unfamiliar to me. So this is like I'm educating myself too. I hope you get to come here, guys. Another one of those right next door. I love how they planted this community garden. I'm not familiar with this. It's a tree from Brazil called, I think you pronounce it, capaçu. And I'm not going to try the Latin. I'll leave that up to Jim Richardson. He's good at the Latin. Choo choo. Choo 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 choo. Sugarcane locomotive. Okay, back to the tree. I'm trying to stay focused, as George would tell me. He's my camera mentor, and I don't know where he's at, but I'm sure he has the fruit shakes. It's like a drug addict. He's a fruit addict. This is one of the fruits from that Brazilian tree. George must be over by the guard dog of the durian tree because I can hear the dog barking. They keep this place so pristine. You can probably hear them mowing in the background. I think I've spotted 2 breadfruits. I don't know if you've ever tried breadfruits, but they make a great curry, guys. So if you live in a zone where you can grow breadfruit, I would grow it. If we ever move up here, I would definitely have a breadfruit tree. Okay, guess what? I'm under one of these giganto trees that I think is a mango. Holy mother mango. I don't think it'd ever get that big in Melbourne, but Wow. When we were here in December, they were everywhere. I've seen these lovelies at the botanical gardens, and I've always admired this particular tropical flower. I'm under all these giant, they have to be hundreds and hundreds of years old, mango trees. I'm just a beginner fruit addict. I'm not hardcore like my other half, George, but just being in this place is so unexplainable. Another one of these. Look at the background too. So cool. Okay, it looks like they've got more than 2 breadfruits here. It looks like 1, a new baby one they've planted, 2, and another one right into the sun. This is a Sparrow's jackfruit from Malaysia, and we have another watchdog over this one. Isn't it funny? The watchdogs were over our favorite fruits, the durian and the jackfruit. It's like they know. Okay, here is the jackfruit with the mountains in the back, just like in Hawaii. So beautiful. I would love to live in this house. Your backdrop is this community garden and with your own swimming pool. And last time we were here, those were open, the garage. The monkey jackfruit from Southeast Asia. Look at the cool leaves on this tree. It doesn't have a label, so if you're out there watching the video and you know what it is, put it in the comments so I can learn. I'm not sure, but it's in between the breadfruits, if you've been here before, and it's got these humongous leaves. Oh yeah. Oh, this is a favorite of my Vietnamese friends. If you're watching this, Tracy, if you're watching this, Quinn, this is a hog plum from the South Pacific, and our hog plum is so tiny compared to this. Look at the trunk. Look at this. I think these are all hog plums. Another tree I'm not familiar with, called the Yellow Tampoy from a peninsula in Malaysia. If you lived in that house, this would be in your backyard. I'm sure they come in here and have a feast. This is the Yellow Mangosteen tree from Trinidad. We have a small baby one of these, and I'm curious to see if it's going to blossom and bloom with George's loving care in Melbourne. The leaves on this are spectacular, really pretty. This is the orange Araza from South America. I am also not familiar with this tree. It's pretty big. Here's a finger lime from southeast Queensland and New South Wales. This is a cascarito from South America, another tree I'm not familiar with at all. Another humongous tree. This is an achacha from Bolivia. I think George has an achacha. I think it was newly purchased. Another tree that I don't have much knowledge on called the purple mangosteen. What's so neat for me is I like to go home and Google these and ask George questions just like a good little student. I think George has a newly acquired purple mangosteen, if I'm not mistaken. This is a bitter cola from Central Africa. but I'm not familiar with this tree at all. Maybe some of you tree lovers know. And then there's some fruit, and this doesn't have, oh my gosh, I know that one. See if you guys know that one. We're trying to grow this one in our garden too. Can you recognize the fruit? It's brown. I'll give you a hint. Okay, here's the flowers, which we have some in our garden, and there's some of the fruit up there. Okay, it's not lychee, it's not rambutan, but what is it? Buah soba from Southeast Asia. And again, this is one I am not familiar. I'm sure if you lived, oh, so maybe this is the same tree, so that I thought it was something else, but this is a totally different one that I'm not familiar with. I thought it was the longan, but it's not. So maybe it's related, I don't know. I'll have to ask George when he watches this video. A huge kola nut from West Africa. Oh yeah. This sounds like candies. I don't know if it's candies or candies from Malaysia and Indonesia. Again, another tree that's a new one to me. And I hate filming into the sun. I'm trying to learn how to be a good camera lady. Pretty tree, isn't it? I recognize this one. It doesn't have a label, but we have a couple of these. This is, I can tell by the fruit. See if you can guess before I tell you. And I can tell by the leaf that this is a macadamia nut tree. Look at that trunk. I'm excited that the sun came out. Look at this macadamia nut tree in all of its majesty. I tell you the variety, but it doesn't have a label. This is overwhelming for me. Look at George. I'm going to film him. He's filming me. I'm going to film you. Oh, this is funny. Okay. I feel like I just went to a new planet called the Rare Exotic Tropical Fruit Planet. So if you've not discovered that planet yet, come to Cairns in far north Queensland and visit Sugarworld in Edmonton. This is the, I think, Madan. I don't know if you pronounce it like that, from Thailand. Again, I'm not familiar with this one. Maybe some of you fruit hunters, you rare exotic tropical fruit nuts will know what this one is. Look at this alien. I don't know what this is. I'm not sure what this is, but I think, I'm guessing, okay? I could be wrong, guys. I think this is a jackfruit that they might have just planted. Oh, that was the the bird from Australia. Not the cockatoo, the kookaburra. That's how you say it. Sorry for the lawn mowing, but it just is what it is. This is one of my favorite fruits from the Amazonian South America, abiu. If you've never tasted one, come to Cairns when they're in season at Rusty's Market and try it. Oh yeah, we can't grow this really in the temperate climate, but it's a magnificent fruit, one of my favorites. And the tree, again, is hundreds of years old, maybe older. Another one of the favored Hawaiian nut trees that probably originated in Hawaii. I'm not sure, but maybe it originated in Australia. I'm sure that Jim Richardson probably knows those interesting facts, like Banana Daddy does. Queensland and northern New South Wales. Check out this macadamia nut tree. Ours is 10 years old in Melbourne, or 10 or 11, and it's like, I don't know, maybe this isn't 100 years old. Maybe this is, because they grow faster, maybe this is I have no idea. It's not 100 years old though. I just said that out of the top of my head. I think I'm really growing when it comes to rare tropical fruit. I'm thinking this might be a curry tree or related to a curry tree, but I could be wrong. No, I don't think it is, but maybe it is. Yes. I don't know. Let's go and see if we can find a label on this one. There wasn't a label on that tree, and I'm not sure I smelled it, but then I recognized one of my favorite trees from last time. Oh, wait a minute. There's a label on this one that looks familiar. Let's see. Oh, that's funny. It's another one I don't know. The cucumber tree from Southeast Asia. When we go back to Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, we'll have to look for some of these trees and try some of the fruits, because this one I'm unfamiliar. So that's what that other one was. It wasn't a curry, but guess what? This is one of my favorite trees in our garden because I love to cook Sri Lankan and Indian food. This is the curry tree. And I've always asked for George to find us a super mature one so that we can grow our curry tree to look like this one. I remember it was such a role model, or it was such a beautiful tree in the smell of the fresh curry. And I feel like I'm in Colombo, Sri Lanka, when I sit under this tree, or I'm in Goa, somewhere in India. I'm so excited. I found some fruit that fell off the tree that I love. I think it's the egg fruit. And maybe we can find a freshly fallen one to try. Looks like the bats came after this one. I think the real name for this one is called canistel. And I think we have a couple of these. And we have tried the fruit. Trying to get up close so you can see the fruit. It's still a little green here. But we're going to see if we can find a good one to sample. I just took a bite of this. It tastes like egg yolk. A sweet egg yolk. Again, we've had this a lot at Rusty's Market. But it's so cool to see it just falling off the tree. Okay, from a different angle. Banana Daddy, do your magic and grow me one of these curry trees. I guess to get this big it'd probably have to be here in Cairns. We'd have to move here or Hawaii. But I think we could get it to grow pretty big in Melbourne. This is interesting. I'm not seeing a label, but it looks like some kind of variety of a dragon fruit. It's right underneath the canistel or egg fruit. I can hear George too. I know he's hungry. He's got radar, and he's probably behind me and saw me eating that fruit on the ground. Oh, this is cool. This is a native tamarind, and we have this growing in our backyard, but it's just like a stick straight up. Wow, is this what it's going to turn into? I don't know if it'll get this big in Melbourne, but ours is getting pretty tall. Okay, I wanted to film the breadfruits from this angle. I don't know if this will do it justice, but they are a magnificent looking tree. The Mabalo from Malaysia and Philippines. Not familiar with it. I see some of the fruit on the ground. Very pretty tree. Another one that's super, super mature. A nice bench to just sit and have lunch. Maybe we'll come here and have lunch under this canopy of trees. In the distance, I've spotted my favorite place to hang out, the Jaboticaba forest. It's a forest of Jaboticabas for you Jabo freaks. I'm not even getting half of the trees here. But All you fruitaholics will have to come here and have a fruit orgasm. Now this fruit tree will give you a real fruit tree orgasm. Wow, look at it. It's so huge. Now this one here has to be over 100 years old for sure. Look at this. Look at the trunk. Okay, I'm in the citrus area at the lemonade tree. This is one of my favorites in our garden, and every person needs a lemonade tree. Tastes like fresh lemonade. I'm in the citrus area now. I'm sure there's pomelos, and there's oranges, and again, this is a full-size lemonade tree. Can't believe it. Wow. I'm sure it can get like this in Melbourne because citrus does really well where we live, as you saw in my orange video. This is so funny. I can see George behind me, and he's hungry, and I'm in the Jabo now, the Jabo Takaba forest, and he's trying to catch up with me because he's hungry. Anyway, welcome to Sugarworld Tropical Fruit Orchard or Community Garden. There's some nice philodendrons under here. I remembered this before, and there was a story behind all of these jabos here. I can't remember the story, but maybe it'll come back to my memory. Isn't this cool? Okay, and here is the sign. Oh, that's a cockatoo. He's mad at me. I was over by the Durian Tree and the Macadamia, so he got mad. Here it is. This is from a Jabuticaba from South Brazil. Another one of our favorite trees in the garden. I can't wait till ours gets like this. It's a Brazilian cherry from South America. And you all have to taste this. We've tasted it before at the Botanical Gardens because I think last time we were there it was in season and they had some that were laying around. Some more Jabuticabas. This is amazing. Look at the trunks on these. For those of you that are out there that are maybe my friends that aren't aware, like the fruit community, the fruit on these trees grows on the branches, and they're like little grapes, and they are magnificent. Ours at home is around 10 years old, so we have gotten some fruit from it, but this is like outstanding because it's like a forest of them, and evidently they grow really good here. But there's a story about these, and if I can find it in my memory, I'll bring it forward for you. If not, you can probably Google it online. More gigantic mango trees. Wow. I don't know, maybe the universe is preparing us to live here in the future. I don't know, but I sure like it here. I like how they put the philodendrons and things underneath here. These grow really good in Melbourne too. Our whole back fence is filled with these. Oh, wait a minute. Are these philodendrons? Or are they the... Oh, no. I think this is the... You can also eat the fruit from this because we have one of these, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's not... I don't think it's the philodendron. It's a fruit. It's like, I think they call it, there's no label, but I can't remember the name, guys. We have one underneath our ice cream bean tree, and it's like a cone shape, And then you have to peel it and eat the fruit, and we haven't had any fruit yet, so I can't wait to try that when it's available. Another one I'm familiar with, because we have this in our garden, the Acerola Barbados cherry. And this tree is pretty old. This is another must if you're adding to your fruit collection. I know this one because we have this growing, but my mind is at a blank and George isn't around, but it's got beautiful fruit on it right now. Put it in the comments if you know what this one is. Coffee! Coffee! And you can eat the fruit and it's real peppery. Those are the huge mango trees from another angle. This is a map of Sugarworld, and I'm here right now, and you can see what's here. This is pretty. I'm not sure what it is because it doesn't have a label, but it's huge and the leaves are stunning. There's another one right next door. I don't know how to zoom in, so I'll just take it from there. Follow the Sugarworld road. Follow the Sugarworld road. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Oh yeah. It's beautiful. People are spending a lot of money on these variegated plants, especially in Thailand right now. There were small trees. I mean, if you're young out there and want to start a business, this is a good idea for you. They're really, for some reason, becoming very popular. I bet this is beautiful when it's pouring down rain here. I'd like to come here sometime when there's a deluge and just, oh yeah, have our rain coats on and just walk through the forest. I'm under the lime in the coconut. Do, do, do. You know that song? I put the lime in the coconut. Yes. Coconut consciousness is what it's called. Coconut consciousness. Huh? I think the cockatoos are mad at me. They're making a lot of noise. I think I'm in their territory, so they shut up now. Oh wow, look at that. Bamboo. Do you know the story about the bamboo tree? If you don't, Google bamboo tree story. Especially if you're starting with a small dream, I want you to remember the bamboo tree. What happens to the bamboo tree? Do you know? Google it and put it in the comments. These are sugar palms from Southeast Asia, and they're right in the coconut patch. They're beautiful. Oh, another one of my favorite fruits. Can you recognize it? Can you recognize it? Exciting. It's at number 22, the number of light. So let there be light. Look what I found.
Be careful some of these fruit. They're not, they're unknown.
No, this one here you know.
And unsafe.
When you see this one, you're going to be excited.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, that's jambu. Max jambu, is that right? These are miniature dwarf. Yeah, these are dwarf varieties. Hey!
Oh my gosh. I think he's really hungry by now.
Wait a minute. This is a dwarf wax jambu.
It didn't have a label, and I knew it looked familiar. I knew it.
Oh no, it doesn't.
What is it?
It's some kind of wax jambu crossed with acerola.
Oh, that's what I thought it was, the acerola. Hey, did you get to try the egg fruit?
Acerola right there.
Did you get to try the egg fruit?
No.
Oh, you missed it.
Where's the canister?
See, I told you he was hungry. He's in the background saying, "Where's the canister? Where's the egg fruit?" I like my egg fruit with passion fruit or a little bit of lime. Isn't this beautiful underneath here? Oh. Another view of the coconut trees here in the back part of Sugarworld. I just asked George, that thing that looked like the philodendron was the deliciosa. How do you pronounce that?
Monstera deliciosa.
Okay, that's what it was. I don't know if you saw that, George.
I'm checking out the jabuticaba.
Did you check out the curry tree that you're going to grow me in Melbourne?
Hang on. You seen the bilimbi yet?
Yes.
I was looking for the bilimbi.
Another view of this majestic tree. They really do a good job here. The maintenance crew here at Sugarworld, you know, all the grass is cut real short, so I haven't seen one snake, which that surprises me in a place like this with all these tropical fruit trees. Well, you've seen us in our videos feasting on the groomy chama from Central South America. I love this fruit. Wow, is that what our tree is going to look like in the future? So cool. This is a lychee from China. I'm sure this grows really good in your neck of the woods in Guangzhou, Joe, if you're watching this. Another humongous tree. And I'm in the middle of the bird forest here with all the Cairns bird munchers. It looks like all the Greek cousins here. And they definitely like something over here. These birds make the most beautiful sounds at night in Cairns when you're sleeping. These look like there's a lot of babies. Okay, what do you think these babies are? You wondering? Let's see. See if you can guess. All the birds were over at this end, so I don't know if it was something on the ground or if there's a lot of worms here because there was a mulch pile. This is an African mangosteen from tropical Africa. Well, with all the rain here, you would think it would be really, you know, muddy, but it's not. I mean, they've had more rain here in the last 3 or 4 days, I think, than that they've had here during the whole season. Now, this reminds me of George. What's he call it? Chop and drop. Actually, I'm like in nursery school when it comes to rare exotic tropical fruit trees. George is the magician or the opulent oracle, fruit oracle, and I am the chef. So I'm learning right along with some of you that are new to this. I just spotted an interesting tree back here and I'm going to go check it out. No wonder I recognize the papaya tree, but it's in a little different shape that I've not seen. And these are really great, the leaves, the young leaves. And also I like to make green papaya salad. In Lao, it's called tamahun. Tamahun. Or in Thai, it's called green papaya salad Sum Tum. Is it Sum Tum? Tum Yum? No, Sum Tum, I think they call in Thai. And you can see the fruit up here, all the green. Those of you that live here know this grows like a weed, but we've been trying. George has tried for 5 years, and we've had like 6 trees, and we got right to the place of fruit, and then winter came. I'm sure that he will work his magic. In the meantime, we can use the leaves. I have no idea what this tree is. Assam, Kipang, Indonesia, Peninsular, Malaysia. It's got a big trunk, and there's a whole bunch of them here. So those of you that are fruit hunters from around the world are probably familiar with these trees. Another one I'm not familiar with, it's from tropical Africa, called the, I'm going to try and pronounce it, Sapote. I don't know. I feel like such a beginner when I come in here and realize that there's so much fruit around the world that we're not familiar with. Again, I lived 50 years in a farming community about 2 hours from Chicago, and I had no clue. I didn't even know figs grew on trees. So again, I'm growing and learning, and you can start at any age to learn about anything new. I learned to golf when I was like, I don't know, in my late, was it late 30s or early 40s? Yeah. So you can do it. Another view of that lychee tree from China. I'm going to have to research a lot of these new trees tonight. This is the yerba mate from Central and South America. Again, another tree I'm not familiar with. This looks like the Latin name for this tree, another one I'm not familiar with. It's a beautiful tree. And the flowers, look at the flowers. Not sure which country this is from. If you know, again, put it in the comments so we can all learn and grow together. Imagine this is your backyard. Wow, if you live here in Cairns. They always say there's acres of diamonds in your own backyard. There sure are a lot of acres of diamond fruit trees in your own backyard here in Edmonton at Sugarworld. I just want to thank you again for watching this video, and I appreciate you sharing this place with us, Jim Richardson. We had never been here until you shared it, so we appreciate that. Anyway, I'm going to end the tree with the magnificent breadfruit, and I'm going to thank you. If you've watched it this far, you truly are a fruit hunter. You truly are a rare exotic tropical fruit lover. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with your friends, especially with young children, so that they can learn about all these rare trees when they're a little baby. Uh-oh, there goes George underneath the breadfruit tree. Have a great day. Okay, I'm back filming again. He found it. He's starving, and he says this is the sweetest. It's all on the ground. You're not allowed to pick from the trees, but these were knocked on the ground, so they're like garbage. Look at this.
This is the sweetest canistel I've ever tried. Oh my god. And it's moist, it's not dry. This is the canistel I want in Funtopia. Have I got some on my nose?
You got it on your face.
Mmm.
Connect this to my video so they can see it, because I didn't do anything like that. Wow.
Mm.
Can I have a bite?
Oh.
Okay, thanks for watching. It's my turn. See you guys later.